And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what?
Just want to appreciate this manifestation and this moment to be here with all that is. We've rendezvoused here many, many, many times, but first time in the physical. So I played this game about 3 years ago when I discovered your teachings that definitely paradigm shifts happened when I discovered you. Kind of shifted from religion to spirituality and understanding the energy behind all of the spectrums of religion and spirituality.
Perfect words.
And so when I discovered you, I knew that I was going to meet you and be in this chair. And so if I'm going to be in the presence of all that is and infinite intelligence, I should ask a really good question. So,
Out of time.
And I would be just as satisfied, honestly. So I asked my question, and I was very excited about my question, and I got the answer. So I've done this so many times that knowing that I'm coming here to ask a question, I kind of left that alone and decided I want to create a dialogue. So I thought of a dialogue, and I listened to your segment.
That's always what it is, isn't it? Life causes you to ask, and then answers come, and then more life causes more asking, and then more answers come. And that's what it all is, isn't it? You're not ever going to ask the final question, or the really big one, or the best one. It's just whatever one is next for you now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So even in today, thinking all day long, it's the exact perfect time that I'm in this chair because my questions have evolved constantly and ever will evolve. And I'm in the
Did you feel some evolution of them here today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single person that came up asked every single one of my questions.
That's co-creation at its best, isn't it? Yes.
It is.
Yes.
So now in this moment of appreciation and knowing the clarity that where my question arises from, it's the most clearest I'll ever ask this question.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for the clear answering of all that is. I realize and continue to learn and come into oneness of contrast is not good or bad. Contrast is exactly the perfection of why I'm in the leading edge of this chair and why we're here. And I've experienced quite a bit of contrast in the last 3 years since I've come in contact with your teachings.
Contrast is the stuff that puts the eternalness in eternity. And contrast is only not enjoyed when you are not in the receiving mode. Contrast usually happens when you're not in the receiving mode. But then when you get into the receiving mode, the benefit of the contrast becomes fully known. So it's necessary to embrace being out of alignment and in alignment in order to have enough contrast. It's all part of it. It's like you finally have to accept your humanness, your humanity-ness. Yeah. Your wholeness.
So I have this big desire and vision that I've had since I was wee big, and the contrast has put me more and more closer to that vibration. And before I discovered your teachings, I realized that I created my reality, but indeliberately, and yet it was still beautiful and abundant.
Well, those are good words. Most people are creating by default, but they're still creating, and they're still asking, and they're still accomplishing vibrational realities. They're still expanding. It's just that they don't have the satisfaction of getting to witness the coming together of it until they croak.
Yeah. And I kind of realized that from someone croaking next, a close one, to realize the value of life is the contrast to that. And so now, when I was creating indeliberately, there's still residual energy that is manifesting from that.
It's logical, little momentum.
And as I'm moving closer to that desire, things are dropping off and aligning and getting more closer to that vibration.
Which means you're feeling better and better.
Yes.
Yeah.
ups and downs a little bit, but it is moving closer to that feeling of...
So you can nudge it all the way by understanding the differentiation between relief, getting better and better and better, and satisfied, which holds no resistance. And that satisfaction will come to you immediately in the utter acceptance of the value of the contrast. In other words, when you can say, it was worth it, you're there.
So I guess my question is...
Drum roll, please.
Yes. I believe I'm moving downstream, and I've been moving downstream for a long time.
Path of least resistance, we agree. No point in getting in the stream, pointing your canoe upstream, and fighting the current. Why don't you just turn and go with the current? No, I have to pay a price.
Even though I am aware, and how do I allow myself to stay downstream in a place where I am in contrast, and I feel actually that it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm moving with nature and path of least resistance, but all the surrounding components around me, there's a lot of negativity pointed towards my contrast.
Why are you bothered about it? What's bothering you about it? Because those two statements aren't exactly right together. When you're flowing downstream, in the analogy as we offered it, that means you've given up resistance, you're just going with the flow. Your path of least resistance, you are a cooperative component. And when you're flowing downstream, you do not have awareness of resistance. Resistance is when you're paddling upstream.
So I've been very general. Just the specifics of the contrast is I've been in a relationship for 10 years, married for 5, and I've been in a place where I thought I was going to save this individual or be a conduit to putting energy into this person to raise their vibration when they're not open circuit. And there's good and bad times in that. Now, we just had a child together 5 months ago, and he is a perfect creation and extremely precious. Yet there's been extreme clarity within the last month and a half that we're going to be going separate ways, and it's what I want. And so as much as I love this person, it's not the place that I feel is in the path of least resistance. So I'm moving out of that space. So I feel like I'm moving with the energy, yet it is a contrasting place.
Everyone hears the situation, and given what you said to us before, what's the rub? Because the experience has given you clarity, and you've come to a decision, and the decision you've made with great contemplation and evaluation, and you feel that you've made the decision. In fact, it feels like the decision was sort of made for you. It truly is the path of least resistance, but there's something in it that is still struggle for you or contrast for you. Is it that you want that and you can't have both? Not quite. What is it? What's the struggle? Is the struggle that you thought that you could use the power of your own mind to change circumstances enough that you wouldn't have to go?
Perhaps.
Is the struggle that you've discovered that it's not your job for somebody else to get you? Is the struggle because you've discovered that your true partnership is with your inner being, and it feels like you're choosing that relationship over all other relationships? Why are you using the word struggle?
The life that I desire for my son was always a life with my partner, my wife.
But here's a big question we have for you. Given all that you've lived and all that you've come to know, and the satisfaction that you've found in the partnership with your own inner being, do you want your child to learn from you through the clarity of your example about partnering with inner being or about partnering with other humans?
That is the exact clarity of what I made the decision for. And I'm backtracking. I keep backtracking, but that's literally the words that
as you realize that your child didn't come to mimic what others are doing, your child came to find personal desire and build own vortex. So when through the clarity of your example, you reach for what feels good, and the words that come from you always do, then this child has an opportunity that is really a wonderful opportunity of seeing how two different people approach life and having an up-close and personal understanding of what one approach yields and what another approach yields. Nothing could be more perfect, and nothing could have been better planned.
I couldn't agree more.
You found some relief in that, but our question to you is, are you finding satisfaction in that thought?
I am. I just need to sit and resonate in it a little bit more to really feel it.
You reflect back to us what we just said to you, because we know for sure you've got it. You tell us what we just said.
Just the perfection and...
We have some questions for you.
Yes, please.
Will my child, girl or boy?
Boy.
Will my son learn from my words or through the clarity of my example?
The clarity of my example.
Does your son have an inner being?
Yes.
Still connected?
Absolutely.
Would you like to be a catalyst for helping him maintain that connection?
Yes.
Would you like to demonstrate a life of utterly no contrast?
No.
Leaving him completely unprepared for his own life?
No.
Or is the contrast that you're living and you're rebalancing within it really a wonderful thing for him to witness?
Perfect.
Do you want your son to acknowledge that you know how to stay satisfied? Or do you want your son to acknowledge that you know how to hammer things into place so that conditions mostly please you?
Satisfaction.
Do you want your son to know how much you love his mother?
Yes.
Can you find so many things about satisfaction without making you feel like you have to live with her?
Yes.
Can you find things that you appreciate and still move to the things that matter most to you?
Very much.
Can you let go of trying to save someone? Can you acknowledge that no one really needs to be saved, that it could be working out just like they planned it to? Do you have a responsibility to make a commitment and then stick with that commitment forevermore?
I thought I did.
Is it possible that you could have been under the influence of something other than your inner being when you made a commitment? Is it possible that under the influence of your inner being, you could have followed your path right to where you are and that everything about it is perfect?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible that nothing's gone wrong here?
Yes.
You think maybe the hokey pokey really is what it's all about?
I hope so.
Everything's good, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. Enough? You have something more?
Perhaps another question. And it's kind of the of time, of being nonlinear. I had a profound experience when I met my son, that a part of my heart opened up that has always been there, but I was not aware of. And it was almost an overwhelming feeling like, you're finally here. I missed you. It's been a long time since I've been.
Well, it was a convergence of your inner being and of his inner being, and your attention in the moment allowed you to have, in other words, we've been talking about thoughts turning to things. And oh, what a celebration it is when the thought of who you are turns to the being of who you are. This is big time creation. When someone is born into the physical, splat, there they are. And when someone is in vibrational sync with Source, as they witness that, then you felt what all of Source was feeling about that occasion. And that rarely happens. That's what that was. Enough?
For now.